Welcome to the latest edition of River City Hardball. I'm your host, Andrew Gibson, and it's always a pleasure to welcome in our friends from Optimized Physical Therapy and Sports Performance House there at DBAT Jacksonville on Powers Avenue here in Jacksonville. Tonight, a senior right-hander from the Bolles School, Max Haug, and our friend Jacob Evanich from Optimized Physical Therapy. Guys, thanks for jumping on. How are we doing tonight?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good. It's nice to be back on here with you, Gibby.
I know. I see the Optimized Physical Therapy banner behind you guys. That looks good. And you're in your training facility. So let's begin there. Jacob, what have you been working on with Max? His season starts this week. The regular season for Bolles gets started on Thursday. So what have you been specifically working on with Max to help get him ready for the season?
Yeah, so, the brunt of the work is always, of course, ideally off-season, which Max was really good about, where he planned it out really well. Where he started with me in the summer of last year, and we kind of worked through the fall, and then he really hit it hard for a couple months during their technical off-season. And now that we're in season, we're trying to maintain that strength. We're making sure we're maintaining his mobility, especially now that he's pitching a little bit more. Just making sure he keeps that range of motion in the shoulder. So it's a little bit more of an emphasis on the mobility side, but also just making sure we are doing at least some lifting to maintain the strength that he worked so hard to develop.
Max, you're a senior at Bolles. Tell us about your game. Tell us about the upcoming season, which starts this week, man.
So I'm a starting pitcher for Bolles. I think this year I'll probably get a couple starts here and there, and then maybe mostly probably in relief. Kind of all depends on how the other pitchers do. We have, 4 D1 arms thrown for us this year, so we should be pretty good in that category. We're just going to need to rely on the hitting a little bit to get, get a couple of hits to get some runs on the board, because we should be able to keep the runs pretty low, at least for the pitching side.
Max, you're a pitcher. What do you throw? What are some of your pitches that you select from?
So I throw a fastball, slider, and a changeup. I mainly rely on the slider to get the people out, but then I throw a changeup here and there to throw them off a little bit.
Where's your fastball sit right now?
It's about 88 to 89 right now. Kind of working 90, kind of top 90, 91 in there, depending on how I feel.
Man, you can get outs with 88 all day long, 90. You can still get outs. You don't have to throw 102 to get outs. You know that. One more thing for you before we get it back to Jacob. Max, what specifically are you trying to work on when you go to work with Jacob, when you're going into the DBAT facility? What are maybe some things in your mind that you're trying to work on?
Like he said, right now, kind of just mainly it's mainly mobility and kind of just maintaining the strength that I worked all off season to get. But kind of as I throw, I get tighter kind of after I throw. So then just kind of keeping them in mobility is kind of important to me.
And Jacob, I was in there with you guys the other night, and you were going through the whole routine. There's a lot of stretching. There was some deadlifts involved. Take us through maybe what's some of the exercises that we're looking at when you work with Max.
Yeah. So, like you said, a big thing in some of the podcasts we had done in the past, we emphasized so much the mobility of the shoulder throughout the season, especially a pitcher. How after every start, sometimes just with the high velocity movement, we lose some of that range of motion. So we always come in, we always recheck where his motion is at. We might do a little bit of soft tissue or massage work to try to gain that back. And then based off whatever is kind of tight that day, I have a general game plan going into it, but based off what he tells me or what I kind of see with the movement assessment, then we pick a mobility routine based off of that. So with him, we were working on a little bit of improving like the upper mobility of the shoulder blade, along with getting his arm overhead a little bit easier. So we do some different stretches, like some almost like downward dog stretches. We work his hips a lot too to maintain that hip mobility. That's so important for pitchers. So we do different like mobility flows for the hip, where you just kind of go one stretch into the next one to maintain that motion. And then after we get all that done, then we go to the lifting. So we did, the other day was deadlifts. I'm trying to remember what else. We do a lot of different arm care variations, so some rows. We might do a different kind of like push also. So instead of just pulling like a cable, for example, and doing a row, we might do some kind of push up or dumbbell bench press, and then we always try to get maybe one single leg lift into, so some reverse lunges or something of that sort to make sure we're keeping that single leg strength too.
That's good stuff. A lot to handle there, Max. What drew you to optimize physical therapy and DBAT? Why did you choose these guys to work with?
So kind of, I guess, last summer maybe I was just kind of looking for. I wasn't really working out much, and I kind of figured I needed to get in the weight room to kind of help my game out. And then I found Jake, and then I went to him for evaluation, and then ever since then I've been going to him once or twice a week, every week for I guess almost 2 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So.
And how has that helped your game, Max?
Well, it's not only gotten me stronger, but I think he's also made me more mobile, more mobility. So that helps obviously with pitching because that's really key. And then he's kind of just also watches my arm care well, so he kind of knows what's wrong if my arm's not feeling too well, or how to fix it at least, or how to help it at least. So it kind of helps not only the strength but also the mobility.
If you don't mind, give you I'll put some. Just for example, I look back. It was kind of fun to look back from when he started compared to now. Pictures show everything a little bit better than anything, but since I don't have some of the pictures, just like push-ups, he was at 7 when he first came to me, and the form was a little bit iffy day one, and he was up to 20 the most recent time that we ended up testing with really good form. The deadlifts, in the very beginning, we tried to see how heavy we could go. We did about 235 for 6 reps. He's up to 325 for 3 repetitions, so really good there. And just for example, with like the arm care, I check. It's a prone arm raise test, so you're laying on your belly and seeing how strong the back of the shoulder is with this specific movement. First day he came to me, he was at 20 for that, and then he's up to 33 now. So it's simple things like that that really show the improvement in arm strength, which really should help him make sure he maintains his health throughout the season.
And Max, I have to believe your coaches and your teammates have seen the improvement and the increased gains that you've made in your game. Are you telling your teammates, "Hey guys, why don't you go check this guy out? I mean, he's doing some good work for me."
Yes, I have been actually. We kind of run have a little bit of our own thing over there at Bolles, but I've been telling them they need to come check him out.
Good answer.
and Jacob, that has to feel good for you, man. You're getting some word of mouth going.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love working with guys like this. He's so focused every session he comes in here. So it's been a joy from that aspect where he's always just, the second he walks in, he's really focused, ready to get to work. And we get so much accomplished within an hour with that focus that he has.
Final few moments here with Max Haug from the Bolles School and Jacob Evanich from Optimized Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. Max, tell me about Bolles this year. You guys traditionally always have a very good team. You mentioned you got a couple of Division I arms, and you got yourself as well pitching. You're going to college. We'll get into your college destination in a few moments. But, I mean, this Bolles team looks like on paper a pretty good one again.
Yes, we should hopefully make it back at least to the Final Four like last year. But obviously all we want to do is put paint up on the scoreboard. So that's the goal. So we'll see how it goes.
I love that. Paint up on the scoreboard, man. You got to love that. Hey, Max, before we let you go tonight, tell us about George Washington. That's where you're headed to college.
Yes, so I'll be going there next year. I'm going this fall. So we will see how it goes. It's up in D.C. I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to be a starter or a reliever, but I'll do whatever they tell me, to be honest, just to get innings.
What has your conversation been like with the coaching staff there? They're certainly looking for you to pitch there. Anything else they're looking at, or is it just strictly pitching?
It's just strictly pitching. Kind of recently, we've just been talking about kind of summer ball, if he wants me to do anything with that, kind of what he wants me to do with my arm. And he kind of just said it's all dependent on kind of how my spring season goes, whether I need to do summer ball or not. So.
Jacksonville to Washington, D.C., how's that transition going to be for you, do you think?
I think it's going to be a little rough in the beginning, but I think I'll get used to it. Cold isn't that bad, but we got to get through the first 3 or 4 months, and then it's okay.
Awesome stuff. Well, Max Haug, a senior right-handed pitcher from the Bolles School, on his way to George Washington. He's got a season ahead of him, his senior season coming up. Jacob Evanich from Optimized Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. Continued good work, guys, together, and appreciate a few minutes of your time tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Gibby.
Thank you.